What's up, Brian? Thanks so much for having me on your channel to answer some of these questions for the Q&A. I really appreciate it. I just want to let you know that you were one of my big influencers in starting this channel, talking about acne and being into bodybuilding and veganism, and just your kind message really struck a chord with me, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate it, and you were one of my biggest influencers starting the channel, so that's what brings us here today.
That was Simnett from Simnett Nutrition, an up-and-coming vegan bodybuilder who has an awesome channel with really dope content. I seriously think you guys should check him out. But I left that clip in there because that was to me personally, but I thought it was just so nice that I wanted to leave that in there to start this episode. But without further ado, welcome to episode 2 of Vegan Bodybuilding FAQ, the series where we vegan bodybuilders answer all the most common questions when it comes to veganism and bodybuilding. So in this series, we answer all the most common questions, and if you don't hear your question in this episode, make sure you check out first episode, and if you didn't hear it in there either, leave your question in the comments below and it will be addressed in future episodes. In this specific episode, me and Derek are going to be alternating answering questions, but without further ado, I'm just going to jump into the first question, which is,
why do you think vegans in general and in the fitness industry, especially on YouTube, get so much heat? So I think this question has a few layers. I mean, definitely we're like a minority, right? So automatically that makes us different. We're always going to get a little extra heat from that. I think there's definitely some extreme vegans in the movement, in the industry, and they're often the ones that get a lot of the hits, and the message seems to get spread the most, so at least their channels do. So that's definitely another reason. But I think beyond that, I think we're really shaking up people's reality and their beliefs on what's possible as far as bodybuilding goes, and just for being healthy in general. And a lot of people are going to be attracted to that message and see its value and its honesty. But some people are gonna be objected to it, and they're gonna want to push it away, and it's just when people's values get questioned that we've learned all our life, people react in many different ways. So I think one of them is definitely to lash out, be hateful, that sort of thing.
how many times a week at minimum should somebody be going to the gym to gain muscle? And also, how much time do you personally spend in the gym weightlifting? I personally think that you should be spending at minimum 3 times a week in the gym. And I do actually think that you can gain a lot of size going 3 times a week. Literally, all you need to make sure that you are doing is that you are eating enough calories and enough protein. And if you want to know how much protein somebody should be eating, I think you should check out first episode. And also, if you are gaining strength throughout your workouts. It doesn't need to be every single workout, but as long as, by the end of the month, you are lifting more weight than you were at the beginning of the month, you are gonna have to gain size. It's just how it works. In terms of how much time you should spend in the gym, I think you should go at least a minimum of like 30 to 45 minutes. I really kind of edge on at least 45 minutes of weightlifting, because that's how you can really hit all your muscles. And remember that you do want to hit all of your muscles. You don't want to neglect anything. Just because you want a big chest, you shouldn't neglect your calves and your forearms and all sorts of different things, your upper back muscles and stuff. I personally spend about 60 minutes, but sometimes up to 75 minutes, depending on the day and how much volume I'm using in that day. But really just make sure that you are not taking really long breaks, not texting and stuff. Just keep hammering at it. And if you want to do more volume, do more volume. But I would say that you shouldn't go too far over 75 minutes. At that point, you are really pushing yourself in your central nervous system.
Dan Withers asks, do you supplement B12? Yes, I definitely supplement B12. I try and take 1,000 micrograms 3 or 4 times a week, sublingually, underneath my tongue, and that's the way that you should take it too. If you're taking it in a supplement that you just swallow and it goes right into you, it's definitely a lot of variables as far as how much you're going to absorb, so make sure you get a sublingual tablet or liquid. Yeah, if you're a long-term vegan, you should definitely do that. And a lot of America is B12 deficient in spite getting enough in their supplemented food and eating meat and dairy. So it's not just a vegan problem. Everybody should be supplementing B12.
Is bulking as a vegan expensive? It's only as expensive as you want to make it. It's literally the same way that it is with a meat eating diet. If you want to buy filet mignons and caviar and expensive things, right? If you want to buy expensive things, then it's going to be expensive being a meat eater. And if you want to buy expensive things as a vegan, like if you want to go out and eat sushi every single day and you want to buy all the Gardein and all the meat replacements and stuff, that's going to be expensive. But if you stick to the basics, potatoes and rice and vegetables and all the things that honestly you should be eating no matter what, even if you're not vegan, you should be eating plenty of vegetables. So I think that there's not a huge difference in price. I actually think that a lot of times it can be a lot cheaper. For example, buying a huge bag of potatoes is like $3 for 5 to 10 pounds, depending on where you live. Also beans, black beans, if you buy them dried, you can buy a big 5-pound bag at my store for $6-7. All this stuff is very cheap. It just depends on how you make up your diet.
Mons Ortiz asks, are your farts smelly? Are your farts smelly? Yeah, of course my farts are sometimes smelly. It depends. Sometimes they aren't, sometimes they smell great.
This is actually a really, really good question. I've got this asked many, many times, even before I was a vegan. Does meal timing and frequency matter? Also, does the macro profile of the foods you're eating right before your workout actually matter? Now, in terms of the frequency or the timing of your meals, it doesn't matter. If your goal is to lose fat, then it's not gonna matter. By the end of the day, as long as you're eating in a deficit, you're gonna lose fat. If you're trying to gain muscle, as long as you're eating a surplus over your maintenance, your total daily energy expenditure, as long as you're eating more than that and you're getting enough protein, you're going to gain muscle. The reason that I am so adamant about this being known is because I used to fall prey to the idea that you needed to eat every hour and a half or you're going catabolic. Literally, I thought that if you had any hunger ever, your body was eating its muscles away. And so I'd have almonds in my back of my pocket so that I could pop them during class and stuff like that. I would be eating, I'd have 2 or 3 meals in my backpack so that I could eat them in between classes, where really it doesn't matter as long as by the end of the day, your calories are correct. So if you eat 3,200 calories and that's enough for you to gain, and you eat that in 17 different meals throughout the day, it's gonna be the same net result as if you ate 2 meals and you split it into giant 1,700 calorie meals for breakfast and for dinner. Really, it doesn't matter. In terms of the actual macronutrient profile of the meal that you eat before your workout, that's up to you. Because personally, I feel a little bit better if I am going into the gym not on an empty stomach. I also feel really good if I'm eating more carbohydrates than I am eating fats right before a workout. So I'd say like 45 minutes to 60 minutes before a workout, I'll feel really good if I'm getting a lot of carbohydrates. I'll feel like I can get a better pump. But that is literally anecdotal. That's just my opinion, because a lot of people do not agree with that thing. And it's not a scientific fact what I'm saying right there. That's just me.
What are your favorite go-to meals, especially time-friendly and on the go? So I'm a big fan of smoothies. I love just blending up a bunch of fruit, bananas, dates, and then some flax seeds, hemp seeds, a bit of protein powder, and a ton of greens. And I take it with me on the go. I'll have that for any meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, sometimes all 3 in a day. And then beyond that, I really like buckwheat and oatmeal, things like that are easy to just put in a mason jar and take on the go. Beyond that, I think we've got to get out of this habit of thinking that our meals need to be like sit-down meals with a knife and fork. You know, a lot of the time I just bring fruit and nuts and seeds, and I'll buy a head of romaine lettuce at the store, and I'll just have that for lunch, or if I'm hungry, whatever time of day it might be. So those are some of my favorite on-the-go meals.
Do you believe that a plant-based diet is healthier than a diet consisting of all the regular foods plus dairy and meat included? I personally think that it is a lot healthier. I would go so far as to say I know, simply because there are so many studies that back that up. We're just gonna go to the WHO website right now, which is the World Health Organization, which is a hugely respected organization that a lot of governments base their actual health regulations and plans and whatnot off of. Right here on their website, they say red meat was classified as a group 2A, probably carcinogenic to humans, as well as processed meat being classified as a group 1, definitely carcinogenic to humans. And then later on in this, they actually go to give specific figures, and they say that an analysis of 10 different studies estimated that every 50-gram portion of processed meat eaten daily increases the risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. Now, listen, this is just me going through the WHO website, because there are a ton of studies. I will link a bunch below this video in the description, where you can read all sorts of different studies based on, you know, diabetes or heart disease risks, all sorts of different things that have been proven in many a different peer-reviewed studies.
From Amanda Ernst, do you take creatine? So yes, I take creatine. I'd love to know Brian's answer on this. I take, you know, between 3 and 5 grams most days of the week. Some days I forget, just like with my B12. But yeah, I do take creatine, just a monohydrate, none of the, you know, crazy other special kinds. And I definitely notice some strength and size gains. Not that it's necessary. I think if you're just getting into working out, or, you know, you're not near your potential, I don't know if it's something you really need to think about right now. Just keep pushing hard. But once you get to sort of like 85, 90% of your potential and you just need another little push, I think it can help you there. But definitely not necessary, and I wouldn't worry about it if you're not interested in it. All right, thanks so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it, man. I hope this was valuable for you and your viewers. I'm looking forward to doing this again and having you on my channel. All right, see you guys soon. Oh yeah, jump over to my channel, subscribe if you can. I would love that. All right, peace.
The last question is, what cardio do you do while you're bulking? Now, this is a really good question and one that I feel slightly guilty answering because you should do cardio while bulking. Of course, in the traditional bodybuilding sense, a lot of bodybuilders emphasize cardio while cutting and getting ready for competition, dieting, trying to lose body fat and keep their muscle, right? But a lot of us bodybuilders from the traditional era like to keep the cardio pretty low on the bulking. Now, that is not what you should actually do. I think that everybody should be spending at least 5 to 15 minutes of doing cardio per your workout session, you know, right before your weight training or right afterwards, because when you do this cardio, you actually increase your uptake of oxygen per breath of air that you take. So when you breathe air, you get more oxygen per that breath, which delivers way more oxygen to your blood, which delivers more oxygen to your muscles, which means that while you are lifting, you're actually able to lift with more endurance. You're gonna get more oxygen into those muscles and it's gonna cause you to get more gains. So I think that you honestly should do at very minimum 5 minutes. And do it on the Stairmaster, because the Stairmaster kicks ass. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of this episode 2 of Vegan Bodybuilding FAQ. Make sure, like I said earlier in this video, that you do leave your questions that haven't been answered in the comments below so that we can address them in the next episode, because I'm guaranteeing that I'm gonna do a 3rd, 4th, and I'd really like to continue doing it on for a really long time because I feel like there's so many misconceptions when it comes to veganism and bodybuilding. A huge thanks to Simnett Nutrition. I legit really want you guys to go check him out. If you do like his content, make sure that you do subscribe. It helps both of us out a lot when people, you know, share each other's audiences and just kind of spread the knowledge of who's out there. I appreciate you guys coming to this video. If you do enjoy it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It helps it get out to way more people on the search engine. Make sure you leave a comment below and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Team Beyond the Week, CT.
Lift heavy or die Myron, motherfucker.
Team Beyond the Week.
CT, lift heavy or die Myron.